Hey, what's up, barbecue family? We are back, and today's video is near and dear to my heart as we're gonna be celebrating a little over 1 year with my Lone Star smoker. I'm gonna go ahead and doing a review, letting you know what I think about this thing and all the good times we've been having so far. Hold tight, let's get right into it. Seen this thing, I got it nice and cleaned up, and it's all ready for us to go through this. Been a little bit over 1 year, so I'm looking at about a 13-month review we're going here with. But overall, you're gonna get a chance to come in close, look at all the features that I decided to add on to my Lone Star, how it's been holding up over the past year. We'll go over some of the things I don't like, some of the things that I do like, as well as we'll go over some of the things that I need to still do on my smoker, and you'll get my overall thoughts. And more than anything, you'll find out if I thought it was worth it to spend this money to go ahead and get this beast I got here behind me. Let's go ahead and bring you in close, and we ain't gonna take no more time. All right, so we looking at my baby, needless to say. The 24 by 40 offset Lone Star, good old fashioned smoker. Let's talk some of the basic things that I upgraded on this baby. First and foremost, if you're curious about how I got this thing looking so clean, how I keep it clean, because needless to say, I mean, truthfully, with the exception of a few flaws that I can find, because I know where they at, because I put them on there, this baby look better right now than it did. Get that off of there. When I actually got it from the showroom, because it didn't have this shine on there. I'm gonna put my maintenance video on here. I'll make sure that you kind of see how I'll be more or less keeping it together. Keep in mind, when you first get your Lone Star, you do have to get a few cooks in before you want to actually look at putting anything on the outside. But when you take care of it, man, it sure do look good. And that was one of the reasons that I got the Lone Star, was because it was sexy and it looked good, and it was something that I respected, all the way from the look all the way down to the cook. So when we talk about some of the upgrades I got, one of the things was I put the stainless steel upgraded shelf on there. In the insides, everything is the same. I'm gonna lift this up a little bit. I did have them add the spot on for me to be able to add the fireboard on if I like to. Obviously, you're looking at the custom art decal, which they nailed. It looks exactly on. And now actually seeing some of their videos, they do that laser thing. I see how they get that in so detailed and so perfect to what you want. So amazing job they did with that. The off-road package, I got that on there. You have no choice on the wheels, but man, they did a good job on the ones that they did choose to be on here. I also got the couple hooks added right there on my shelf for like your barbecue tools, or your tongs, whatever have you. On the back, I had them add in the fire poker, and the ash collector. I went with the firebox that was upgraded, so from the 1/4 inch steel, I believe it is, to the half inch, so a little bit thicker on the firebox. I also had them give me the fire management basket, which I love, and we'll get into all of that good stuff, along with the ash pan, which, man, I'm telling you what, I wouldn't even want to have to dealing with this thing without being able to easily pull that pan out. So those couple things I do love, but we'll get into all of that. So those are the main upgrades I got. As far as any other accessories that you also have that I'll bring you over to in a second, I got the Sunbrella cover, and I want you to check that out, so I'm gonna slide you over there, as well as I also got the charcoal management basket. Added that on there as well. Other than that, I took the baby as is. Now, I mainly got this smoker, and the reason I chose the Lone Star after looking at a multitude of other ones, you know, when you're spending this kind of money on a smoker, you got options, obviously. You know, there's a lot that you can get cheaper. There's ones you can spend more money on. But I definitely wanted to make sure I got what I wanted. Some of the things that really turned me on was I liked the idea that, A, it looked good. I liked the way it looked. I liked that it was made, and everything that I read about it was how sturdy it was. I love pull-out racks. I think they're the best. I like the idea that this is actually a water smoker and that you can actually put water down into the chamber and be able to kind of get some of that steaming going on while you're in the midst of your smoking. You know, something I didn't notice that I would like, but I really do, is this area down here, which holds quite a bit. Being able to kind of just have that storage rack right directly under the pit probably helps you out with drying out your wood a little bit too, just since that's like kind of a warmer area when you're actually cooking. But having an area, I like to actually leave that when I don't feel like making a walk to my wood pile. The other thing is, since I keep my cover on and everything, and even if it wasn't, imagine a lot of climates, I'm in AZ, so I don't deal with it so much, but a lot of climates where you're getting a lot more rain and everything, being able to always have a little bit of wood that's already covered and never have to worry about that being all wet or anything like that. So something that I didn't even intend for, but really like that. Overall though, I wanted something that was sturdy. I had other offsets that was cheaper, you know, leaking air and all type of other areas, couldn't handle big wood splits, stuff like that. A lot of things I learned along the way on why I was getting a bad product on meat, but I wanted to go ahead and invest in something that would be there for a long time. Being out here in Arizona, our sun just destroys everything. So I mean, literally, if you leave it out here long enough, eventually it's gonna break completely all the way down and you'll be replacing it. So I wanted to look at spending a little bit more money on something that was gonna actually be able to hold up to that sun, and I don't have to be looking at replacing it every year or so. And being that this is something that's my hobby, I wanted to have something that was gonna be able to do a good job and be able to cook well. With that said, we're gonna move on to what I liked about it. Oh, no, better yet, since we got more things to talk about in that area, let's talk about the things that I don't like. Okay, now I had to grab a couple things. Come on around with me here. And I didn't ever once I moved this into my yard, this baby's been sitting in one spot. So that makes it real nice and easy to not have to get beat up too bad. But what I wanted to show you here, this right here is the handle that you get that attaches in right down there at the bottom to be able to pull your Lone Star when you get the off-road. Now, one of the things I don't like is a couple things with this whole setup right here. One is it's a very limited turn ratio that you get as far as being able to go left to right. You don't get big turns. But with that said, I was able to do what I needed to do. But it's going to give you everything as far as the positive and the negatives. Short turn ratio doesn't take long before they actually start touching. One of the things that you probably don't see so well right now because I got everything nice and clean and oiled up, but even though, like I said, this literally just came off of the cart or the pallet, and from there it rolled into my backyard less than probably 50 feet, something like that, around 50 feet, and it's been sitting here. But with that said, in that little bit of time, there's all of this like scraping, so it's doing a lot of touching and rubbing, and you can see that on both sides. Like I said, on this one you can see that that's already starting to become a spot that's starting to rust. Not a big deal, obviously. We talking minimal, and it's down here in the gears and turning area, so who cares? But I'll show it to you so you already know it happens. So there's a lot of touching and access rubbing right there with this short turn ratio that gives you them scratches. So I can only imagine if I was actually taking this to a competition regularly, if I did that, or moving it back and forth in and out of my yard or garage or something like that, probably have a little bit more wear and tear in that area than what you see right there right now. The other thing going along with this pulley attachment that they got here is, if you left it on, I guess maybe it's made to more or less be taken off, but if I was again moving this all the time, I probably wouldn't want to take this on and off every single time as I use it. There's nowhere for it to go. So literally it would just sit down here on the ground if I had this connected. There's no snap or anything. I've seen some people kind of make some different things where they're able to kind of latch it up here and maybe put a tennis ball or something on there so it's not actually scrapping against the paint. But it just seems like, you know, you pay a lot of money for the off-road package. That would be something, because this thing is so well designed and everything. I'm surprised that they didn't have an area where that would go automatically. So nothing too major, just something to keep in mind. One of the other things I don't like, again, something super small, this bar. Again, purely cosmetic. That is the bar that comes underneath for me to have my stainless steel table under there. And then as just a FYI, when the first time you do that, you're going to really have to put a little English on lifting this up and pushing it up under there. It's really a snug fit, which is probably a good thing, but I was scared to over muscle it. Maybe I'm going to break something, but all in all, it works. But when you're using the Go Grill normally and you keeping your shelf down, that bar always has to sit right here on my wheel. Obviously, does nothing. Cosmetically, don't love the way that it looks. And then obviously I'm always trying to keep them wheels intact, so I don't want nothing that's going to be sitting there causing no long-term damage to that, even though I don't think that's the case. But there's something else that's small that I don't like. Number 3, and luckily this is about really the only 3 things that I got, and all of them are pretty small. This old charcoal management basket. Now, full disclosure, I got this, and initially kind of my thoughts was, hey, I'm going all out, I'm splurging. Once I decided I was in the Lone Star, I wanted to make sure after thinking about it for a while that I got everything that I wanted and everything that I thought I might want. And I didn't want to have to necessarily be turned around, and I'm a person that'll look at it forever and be thinking, why didn't I do this? I should have just got the off-road package. Why didn't I do this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And a word to the wise, if you got any type of gravel, if you got any type of lots of grass where you feel like you're going to be trying to go through, man, spend the money. I don't care if you got to wait 2 more months to save up, get that off-road package. I was going to just upgrade to the general, 8-inch, I believe, casters. There is no way I would have made it through all of this gravel in my yard to bring this baby all the way back here. But with this Lone Star, with the upgraded off-road, I literally pulled this back here by myself, no problems. And I had to go over a little ramp that I had set up for my tool shed over there. So when I tell you that off-road package do the job, it was well worth it, and it looked damn good. And the other thing is, I'm 6'2", just about. This sits it up at a perfect height for me, where everything's right in front of me, where I could imagine it would have probably been a few inches shorter had I not got these bigger wheels. So just a word to the wise on that. But anyway, going back to this charcoal management basket, I figured, hey, it would be kind of nice to also be able to look at maybe long-term cooks, overnight cooks or something like that, and having the option to be able to kind of slide into this and kind of set up that snake channel. Is this one supposed to go this way in here? And set up that whole S and be able to pretty much just fill it up with charcoal, light one end, and then let it just go and go and go. I will also add this video into the links, but if you have already been following along, you saw when I did the overnight cook and I attempted to use this charcoal management basket, which was a little bit after I did the, about 8-month review. It didn't go out, so it didn't work so well. This is one of the things that I was a little disappointed on. One of the only times I've ever said that I think something should have been made a little bit more, either obviously redesign it, or this needs to be a little bit more heavy duty. The reason I say that is this is after one usage, it was literally just flaking and cracking away, which makes me think if I go to use this thing multiple times, I'm probably not going to have too much of these walls left. Now, as great as Chris and all of them is over there, they'd probably send me out more, but I was surprised at that after spending the money on this basket, that it would fall apart like that. The other thing is, if you saw in that video, it just didn't work. So I would see more of the redesign. Basically, this thing all catches on fire. Even though I started it at one end, these are so thin, after a while, everything gets lit. This whole basket's on fire. From everybody that checked it out, a lot of the Lone Star community reached out. A lot of people were talking about maybe just getting rid of both of these all together and just kind of do the minion method with a coffee can or whatever have you, and then kind of let it do its own thing, and it works a lot better. So I will try that sometime, but overall, spent a lot of money on this basket. If I was going to be able to use it, I would like for it to kind of work the way that it was designed to work, and otherwise I could have probably put together my own minion method somehow in the grill and been done with it and got what I got. So one of the things I wasn't too happy about as far as the way it worked out. With that said, check out the video and you can see more of the full story on that. Luckily, that's about it. Again, for me, pretty small. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the things that I do like. So talking about the things I do like, I'm gonna try not to make this too long because I can gush about this thing forever. So that's a good thing though, if you're gonna spend the money for it. Number one, what I love about it is this thing is sturdy. it is heavy duty, and that's why I said I was surprised about that charcoal management basket, because everything on this thing is like a Mack truck, old school style. Okay, we got a heavy, nice, strong door. Don't let no smoke out. Seals are everything nice and tight. All your wheels are very pretty, so everything looks good. I love the pull-out racks and everything. I kind of wish they had a handle on this top one, just because the bottom one has one. Not a big deal, but the space in here is great. Tuning plates already included. You name it. The versatility of this grill was one of the main things I liked. Being able at any time to slide over here and being able to get something and get right onto this griddle and be able to kind of cook right on that directly over the fire. The other thing is you can take that griddle plate directly up out of here, and then you're pretty much looking at a direct rack that's underneath. And now you'd be cooking directly over your fire, so you can get your grill on or your direct sear or something like that. I love that. You got the cool touch handles and everything. Those are amazing, and they literally work. You don't feel anything as hot and piping as this thing is. There's nothing that you can that slows you down at all as you're kind of going along. As I get into the inside of this grill, I mean, it's made well, it's big, it's got a lot of space. So, I mean, it takes the wood well, you got space on the sides to be able to still store a chunk to try to dry out if you need to do that. This fire management basket, like I had said before, is absolutely amazing. That's one of the things that I would tell you for sure as far as upgrades to definitely throw in the arsenal. I'm sure you can build a great fire and do X, Y, Z, but it makes the management of the fire so much easier. It makes your wood overall last a little bit longer and stretch out a little bit further, and it just makes everything go. And then if you're gonna have it, I mean, to not have this pan here at the bottom, I'm telling you, again, heavy, super duty, super heavy duty or whatever. This thing is heavy as hell. If you're gonna put this thing up under here, or I mean, if you're gonna go this far, I would feel like go ahead and have this ash pan. It'll make your life so much easier. I pretty much, again, you can check out the maintenance video. I usually just kind of got a broom that's already set aside with a dustpan, and I can easily just brush, put everything into my little lead garbage can, pull this out, get the rest out, and I'm all ready for the next cook, and it doesn't take too much work. I try to take this rack out when I'm not going to be cooking directly over it, just so it doesn't get beat up all the time by all of the direct flames and all that heat. But overall, I mean, it's just solid. This thing pretty much cooks itself at the end of the day. The temperatures stay very steady. I probably add in wood about every 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, depending on what temperature I'm keeping. It loves to stay in between that 200 to 250 range. And literally, unless I do something crazy, man, that tail true dial will not move unless I'm trying to, or I'm not paying much attention. So overall, I mean, it just hit on so many notes. I can't even begin to tell you as far as the enjoyment that I get when I cook on this thing. Overall, it's just literally much more fun than all my other grills, and I got a few. But when I'm cooking on this one, it's fun to do, it's easy to do, and I always get a great smoke ring. It always gives out the perfect amount of smoke as long as you're running a clean fire, which again is very easy to do. And everything just works. I mean, that's the one thing that I learned quickly was, man, you know, it's not that hard to run this machine, even if you were trying to do an overnight cook. I mean, you can get your 45 minutes or something to nap off and then jump up and throw one log in or something like that and come on back. It'll pretty much go on its own, and you don't got to do nothing too crazy. So mainly, I love the ease of this thing. I love the way it looks, and I love the way it cooks. Hey team, I want to jump in here real quick and let you know thank you for following along on today's review of the old Lone Star offset smoker. If you're new to the channel, go to that bottom right corner, make sure that you subscribe, check out some of the other videos so you see some of the things you already missed. And for everybody else, keep following along, check out the link tree there, and check out me in every other social space that I might be at. Other than that, back to the review. Now, if I was gonna make any changes to my order, there's a couple things that I probably wouldn't get at this point. And I think by now, if you didn't hear it in the beginning as I was going through it, along as if you've already seen the video, I wouldn't get the charcoal management basket. Main reason, first off, I don't need it with this cooker. It's so smooth and easy. Even if I was doing overnight, it wouldn't be that hard for me to do the overnight. using this and still smoking, and I'd still come out pretty good. Wouldn't have to worry too much at all. So for one, I really don't feel like it's needed. For number two, I told you I would love to see a little bit of upgrade on the design, a little bit more heavy duty, so that that whole S pattern actually works, and I can hold a nice solid temp of 225 or something like that, 250 through the night, without having to worry I'm coming back out to a blazing heat fire at 375 or damn near 400 degrees. So that's one of the things. The other thing that I probably wouldn't get would be the extra porthole that you get for the fireboard. I said I wanted to have it, as I love gadgets and stuff, and maybe that fireboard might be nice to add down the line, but kind of going along with that charcoal management basket. At the end of the day, it's so easy to keep my temperature steady on here without it. The fireboard would just be overkill for me personally. And the other thing is, I do enjoy managing the fire. I do like tending to the fire and doing a little something. So I feel like if I was to get the fireboard, it would, and as easy as this thing cooks, it would literally just turn this into a pellet grill, and I would have absolutely no fun. So I like being that I already got a pellet grill, when I'm not looking to do much, I use that. And when I use this, I'm looking to put some real smoke on there. I want to use some wood. I want to make a fire. So I probably wouldn't go with that option. Wouldn't even need it. The other thing is, I had added on, as I showed you, these hooks here. Where they at? There they go. Hopefully you can see those. Light shining in my eyes. Got those couple little hooks under there where I could put like the spatula or the grate scraper or whatever have you. Not a big deal. They weren't a ton of money. I would probably not put them on there. Main reason is probably more my personal preference. One, usually when I'm storing this and everything, my shelf is down. Two, I don't really leave my tongs or none of that stuff out when I'm cooking. Just kind of a little nasty to me, so I don't even like it. Plus, we got way too many flies over here. I'm gonna bring them right back in the house, and I'll bring them back out when I'm ready to go, or something like that. The other thing is, with these nice pretty wheels down here, and it pretty much lines up directly over this wheel well, I wouldn't want to be dripping no grease or no barbecue sauce or no random stuff on my wheel all the time. So I probably wouldn't even want that to be there. And then when I think about my barbecue scraper, you know, a lot of time you got wind, or you might just have to, you know, you moving around and stuff. I don't want that swaying back and forth, scraping up against nothing, dropping off any of that soot or anything onto the wheel. So overall, it was just something that I probably wouldn't even add on anymore. I did, and I forgot to say something about these earlier, I did add on the two areas for you to be able to unscrew and then be able to slide your probes through. I like those. Those work pretty good. Those would definitely be something that I would still keep on there. Other than that, those are about the only things that I would change with my order. Now, one thing that I am going to bring you over here and show you was, because I get a lot of people that ask me questions was, and I want to show you what it looks like, is that cover. All right, so on this cover, this old Sunbrella cover, it usually, some people have said it actually came before they got their Lone Star. Mine came after. It's a separate shipment. It's a lot of money. I sure wasn't sure if I wanted to spend this kind of money on a cover. Now, it is a custom cover. It's got the clips in multiple different areas, so that it snugs, puts on there nice and snug around the chimney, as well as down and right around. It also covers up your wheels, so I like that. And it's a big cover. It's heavy duty. And again, I like the fact that, and I know you probably can't tell, this fabric feels the exact same as it did day one when I bought it. Now, we sitting over here. I got my Blackstone right here, the cover I bought for that. I got my shelf over here, my outdoor shelf, and the cover I bought for that. Both of these, well, this one's less than a year old. It's shorter time than this Lone Star. This thing is already thinning out. I've already told you about that Arizona sun, to the point where I go to put it on or something like that, and it easily will just start ripping. If I wanted to, I'm sure I could just poke a hole through this thing if I popped it hard enough or something like that. And that's usually what starts happening with all of these covers over time. Like I said, this is the Blackstone cover that I had. And I'm not hard on my stuff, man. I try to take care of it. So at the end of the day, one of the better covers I had is actually my Green Mountain cover. That Green Mountain cover, while it actually, it's lost all its color and everything, it's a little thicker, and it still does the job. And it still feels mostly like it did from the beginning. Though I do feel like it's thinning out too, but I don't feel like it's finna rip anytime soon. But as far as those other general covers, they usually don't seem to last that long. Where this one here, I can definitely tell it's got the sun repellent and everything else in here, because it's making a big difference on how it's able to hold up against this Arizona sun, which easily in the summer we had 115 multiple days in a row, and the sun is beaming even right now as we step into damn near December. So it's something that made a big difference for me, and it was something that I actually added on. Initially I didn't have this in the cart, and I ended up coming back. I put on the off-road package and I put the cover on, and I kind of just felt like if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it and make sure that I do it right. And my brother was actually the person that said, as much as you're gonna spend on that grill, and now you're gonna get tight when it's time to put that get the cover, as I thought, oh, I'll go find a cover like this on Amazon or something like that, or a tarp, and I'll cover it up with that. But then you think about it, if you're gonna spend that much on there, the last thing I would want is something to happen on my watch that ends up hurting the grill, and then I never forgive myself. So I went ahead and made the investment. I'm glad I did. Like I said, it's holding up well. The other thing I wanted to show you that they really don't talk about is this thing is pretty like water resistance. So if you spray the water on there, most of it just runs right off. It doesn't actually get my grill wet. When these other ones get wet, it's actually going through and this whole thing becomes damp and these surfaces get wet. That was something that I don't think has really talked about that much, is the fact that this water will just bead up and run right off on this cover, and it'll protect your grill like that too. So depending on your conditions, especially if you're gonna have it outside again, it might be worth it to take a little bit more, save a little bit more, go ahead and get that cover, be done with it, and after that it is what it is. Now, the last things that I'm gonna go over before I give you my little summary at the end is the couple things that I want to do more of, or I haven't done it all on the smoker. And it pretty much comes back into that versatility and the reason that I bought the whole smoker. But over the last year, I've pretty much just been doing some normal smoking. I've done some things on this griddle. And it works phenomenal. Even if it's as simple as, a place to put your pot real quick to warm your barbecue sauce up while you're getting ready to sauce your meat or your ribs or something like that when you're getting ready to take them off. But I need to do some more cooks on it. So that's something you can look forward to upcoming in the future, as well as some more things directly on the grate underneath this one. And then one of the main things that I haven't done at all that I'm looking forward to, and this also is going to be a new video that'll be coming up soon. Since I got it all nice and cleaned out, I didn't want to do it unless I had it in a clean state. Let me see if I can sneak in there and give you a peek. There we go. Unless I had it in a clean state, because I didn't want to necessarily get a lot of bad smoke or a lot of things that will maybe throw off this kind of test. But one of the things that I liked from the beginning, like I told you, was the fact that this was a water cooker and that I can add water directly into the belly of this cooker and then be able to empty it real easily as well right through there. Right? With that said, I haven't put water in this thing yet, and I really want to take this time to kind of test this in, because in my summers it's so dry out here. Maybe that might make a big difference, but I'm curious if it's going to affect my bark or if it's going to affect my color that I'm able to get and things like that. So we're gonna have to give it a shot. I could real easily just put a pan right down there and it'd probably be a lot easier on cleanup, but for the first couple times I want to give it a test the way it's actually made to go, and we're gonna put some water directly into the belly. So that's something I haven't done, something that will be up and coming soon. Hey, and that's it. You got a chance to check out my baby. We 13 months into the process. I'm still seasoning this puppy. I ain't going nowhere no time soon, Lord willing. With that said, we talk about my final reviews and my final comments, but I'm an honest dude, so my stuff bleeds all the way through as I'm talking to you. At the end of the day, I love having my Lone Star. I'm happy with the money that was spent, and I'm still enjoying it like day one. I still smile when I see people post that they just got theirs or theirs is on the way, or to see that crate in somebody's yard. I already know what it feels like. It's a beautiful thing. I'm still seasoning this baby in. Like I said, it's a joy to cook on. At the end of the day, minus those few little things that I said that I didn't like, there are more or less cosmetics or things that really don't matter to me that much. And even for the few things, or one thing that I actually said that I probably shouldn't have got, I can still find some use. Or with that said, I can chalk that up to, hey, I tried. But at least I got it, so I'm not worried about it or nothing like that. If you are thinking about getting you a Lone Star, hopefully you've seen this whole video, I say Take the time, make sure you get the one you want, get the style you want, think about the size that you have or yard or where you're going to be putting this thing, where you're going to be able to store it. Do you need, better movement or whatever have you? Or are you just going to be in a shop type area, or is it going to sit in one place, or is it going to move around? Obviously, all of that stuff is going to factor in your decision. They're still putting out new models and lines and things like that, so easily you can make you turn around and go right back to the lab and see if you don't want something else. But overall, if you're looking for an offset, hey, I couldn't find a better one. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and checking this thing out. Best believe I'll be here to show you 2-year, 3-year, and everything in between. Check out some of these newer videos that's updating and coming. And shouts out to all my boys and my family on Black Smoke Barbecue and everybody else that's been following along. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.